Hey there, thinkers! Welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and Pixar, Disney's supposed crown jewel, is shedding 14% of its workforce faster than you can say box office bomb. But hey, who's surprised? It's not like they've been knocking it out of the park lately. So let's get into this, shall we? So, 14% of Pixar, Disney's golden child, is getting the boot. A whopping 14% of their workforce is being axed because, well, surprise, surprise, they keep churning out trash movies. Shocking, right? So, The Hollywood Reporter has a scoop. Major Pixar layoffs, long expected, are now underway in restructuring. Exclusive. Now, that makes a lot of sense because though, since Pixar has been on a steep decline, mirroring Disney's overall nosedive in the film industry's general chaos, I mean, the budgets are ridiculous. Pixar movies are running up to $200 million plus. That's absolute insanity. And guess what? They've been bombing at the box office. Not exactly killing it, are they? Now, this hasn't come out of nowhere, obviously, but we're getting the scoop on the numbers and details. We knew that they were going to clean house, but it's been a long time coming. But the specifics were a mystery until now. Well, the wait is over. The long-anticipated layoffs at Pixar Animation Studios have kicked off. A few days ago, on May 21st, the brain that was thrusted into the storied company has decided on the extent of the cuts. The Hollywood Reporter had the exclusive. Employees started getting their pink slips that day. Now, apparently, this is the biggest shakeup in Pixar's history under Disney. Shocking. And, of course, the top brass remains untouched, even though they're the ones making all the brilliant decisions. I mean, how typical. So about 14% of Pixar's workforce, around 175 employees, have gotten the boot. Before this, the studio had roughly around 1,300 people, not exactly a massive operation. Letting go nearly 200 people is a lot. So these layoffs are a part of Chief Bob Iger's grand plan to focus on quality instead of pumping out streaming content, which was supposedly Bob Chapek's thing during his super short tenure. But let's be real, it was Iger pulling the strings all along. We all know this. It's been thoroughly exposed by Variety. It's pretty obvious. But they just love to blame Chapek. Meanwhile, Bob Iger is losing money for Disney left, right, and center. Like, what is he even doing? But still manages to make over $30 million last year. Isn't that just great? He doesn't even deserve that much. Now, here's the scoop. Disney execs have been chatting about returning to quality in like a million earnings calls this year, saying that their creative teams were just stretched way too thin trying to pump out content for streamers. Like, that totally makes sense, right? Pixar's employees have known since January that the layoffs were coming. If there's any silver lining, it's that the cuts were less than 20%. Some news outlets were freaking out about this in January, but of course, that was never confirmed. We were just all left guessing. I'm sure Disney Animation and Pixar are totally headed for a consolidation, amalgamation, or a merger, whatever you want to call it. So there were layoffs all across Disney last year, but Pixar got a temporary pass because of their production schedules. Sources say Pete Docter and his team will stop focusing on direct-to-streaming series. Like, why were they even doing that in the first place? Who thought that was a good idea? Anywho, they'll focus on feature films, except for Win or Lose, which is coming out later this year. Honestly, making Pixar go direct to streaming was the dumbest decision ever. Like, who came up with that brilliant plan? So, the once mighty animation studio took a massive hit during the pandemic era when the Chapek crew decided to dump Luca, Soul, and Turning Red straight onto Disney+. I mean, sure, but where else were they supposed to go? It's not like they had some magical place for them. And let's be real though, this whole streaming craze was a complete disaster. However, not like this. It's been a train wreck for every company that's dipped their toes into streaming. Just look at the numbers. It's a complete disaster zone. And well, I mean, except for Warner Brothers, who seems to be the only ones getting it right, shockingly. So now they're saying that the first post-COVID movie, Lightyear, got majorly dissed by critics and audiences, totally exposing Pixar to non-stop scrutiny. Seriously? Maybe, just maybe, it's because they're shoehorning stuff into these movies that nobody cares about. And now Disney as a whole is getting some side eyes from families. Can you believe it? Families turning their backs on Disney. It's like a total recipe for disaster. People are legit wondering if anything Disney even makes anymore is kid-friendly. All because of the LGBTQ+ agenda, politics, and whatever else they're tossing in there. It's rejected, basically by everyone. Crazy, right? Seriously, how is anybody surprised by this? I mean, are you living under a rock? Then there's Pixar patting themselves on the back for Elemental, which raked in nearly $500 million worldwide. However, let's be real, that's still a major flop. With a production budget of $200 million or more, they needed over $400 million just to break even, before factoring in marketing costs, so yeah, not exactly a success story, huh? But hey, I guess that's better than whatever mess they were cooking up before. Oh, look at that. Here's the memo Pixar sent to those unlucky individuals. Hello everyone. I've spoken to you many times over the last year about our pending move away from series production for Disney+, the return to our focus on feature films, and the reduction in our team that would accompany them. Today is here, and while it's not coming as a surprise to anyone, it's one of the hardest changes we've had to make, as it means we'll be parting ways with a number of talented and dedicated colleagues and friends. Today, leaders will begin the process of notifying employees whose positions are being impacted. Calendar invites to speak with the leader have already gone out to those individuals, and we anticipate we'll have contacted everyone impacted by the end of the day. I want to assure you that we will be providing extensive support as our colleagues start to transition at the studio. We are committed to ensuring that their departure is handled with the utmost respect and care at every stage. This is important to me, and I understand how important this is to all of us at the Pixar community. I will host a brief studio meeting via Zoom this afternoon at 5 to talk more about today's announcement. Despite the challenges in our industry over the past few years, you have all consistently shown up to contribute, collaborate, innovate, lead, and do some great work at the studio. I will give you all my deepest thanks for all those who will be leaving us. I'm hopeful that our paths will cross again, both professionally and personally. Oh, spare us, Mr. or Mrs. Sentimental, pouring your heart out like it's the end of an era. Spare the sob story. We all knew this was about as surprising as Monday morning. But hey, thanks for the reassurance that you're going to hold their hands as they exit stage left. And sure, why not all gather on Zoom for a virtual group hug? Because nothing says goodbye like a pixelated screen and forced smiles. However, that's all I've got for today's video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And hey, before you go, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and ring the bell to be notified for our next video. As always, this is Est, and I'm signing off now. So I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!